Hey, Better Club, Lachelle Weemy here, and I am so happy that you guys have taken time out of your really crazy, fun, busy summer schedule to spend a little bit of time with me. I'm guessing that it's because you are part of our tribe, right? The kind of people who want to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business, guys. And I think that it's so important that we recognize that because when we recognize that, right, that's when we're going to show up, even when we don't feel like it. So last week we talked a little bit about what it was like to have to do our business, especially if it's a side gig, when it's beautiful outside, the kids are home, the schedule is all messed up, and it's really hard for us to kind of get that consistency down. It's also really tempting to head out to the pool with my family right now when I could be, doing a bunch of things with my business. And so it's really great that you're here. And I just wanted to say congratulations for taking that first step, right? Now, if you are brand spanking new to the Better Club, I would love for you to say hey. And if you are tuning in live on the YouTube channel, we want to welcome you. If you're tuning in live inside the Better Club Facebook group, I want to say hey as well. For those of you guys on YouTube, head on over to Facebook if you want to have a little bit more interactive conversation, because I want you to feel welcome. I want you to feel like you're truly part of the tribe that we are here, of people who desire for better, right? We understand in our heart that we want better. We understand that we need to become a better version of ourselves in order to be able to do better in our lives, for the people we care about, in our communities, to make a bigger impact, right? And then lastly, we want to do all of that so that we can also have better, right? We can have a better life. We can create a better life for our kids or the people that we care about. And so it's so important that we recognize that. So tonight I am going to take this like 2.0 from last week, and we're going to talk about getting motivated when you don't feel motivated, especially during the summertime, okay? And again, like I mentioned, we have so many things pulling for our attention. Like right now, legit, it is beautiful here in Minnesota. And anybody who lives in the Midwest, you guys can attest to this. Like it feels like we have, 11 months of winter and like a month of summer. And so when we have a beautiful day, like it's so tempting for me to just like stay in the, outside in the pool and do all the things instead of like doing the things that I know are going to move the dial forward. Okay. And I know that it's easy for us to say like, who cares, right? And I've literally just heard somebody say this the other day. Like if I look back, on my life, 10 years from now, will this be important? And I think that that was a really great advice when it comes to things that we're stressing about that maybe aren't going to matter in 10 years. But the reality is, and this is the hard truth, and one of the things that you guys know me, I will give you the truth with a hug, right? You have to recognize that, will this matter in the grand scheme of things in 10 years from now? Possibly not, but it's every single tiny decision that you make day in and day out that does add up to a big deal. And so while I can tell you to don't stress about all of the little things, you also have to recognize that it's the little things, consistency over time, that allows you to get the life that you want to live. And so if you're okay with just being here, right? That's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with being content. I am a very content person. I am grateful for everything that I have, but I also recognize the desire inside of myself for more. I feel like God is calling me for bigger and better impact. I feel like God is calling me to discover new gifts that I have, or to utilize the gifts that I have to the very fullest, so that I lead and live a life well lived, and I help others do the same. And so if that's you, we have to recognize, guys, that we have to show up consistently. All right. Now, it's so easy for us to say, well, it's beautiful outside, like I'll do this tomorrow. And again, like I'm not telling you to not live your life, right? But one of the things that I've recognized, and I mentioned this last week, is that if you can choose even one tiny thing to do for your business every single day, you're not going to fall off the wagon. Okay. But tonight we're going to talk about a very powerful thing that will help you stay focused and stay consistent. And I'm not telling you guys to spend the entire day cooped up inside. That's not what I'm saying. But you can find the little ways to contribute to your business so that you don't go backwards. And you definitely have to remember that if you're going to complain about where you are in your business when it comes to September, you have to own what you did and didn't do, right? Like that's just the reality of it. But one of the most important things that I have recognized that has helped my business is to really get clear on why it is that I'm doing my business in the first place. Okay. And I think that a lot of us have heard of the power of the why. Simon Sinek does a great job in his book, I think it is The Power of Why. And he talks about how people care why you're doing things when you're trying to sell them, but it also matters in why you're doing things to keep you motivated, right? I'm such a nerd when it comes to all these books. And there are books that tell us the compound effect, atomic habits, the slight edge. All of these things tell us that tiny little impact over time will help, but getting the big picture of why we're showing up is going to be the true north. It's going to be the thing that is going to guide us to where we want to go. Okay. Now, there are several philosophies on this, and I'm going to tell you mine from my own experience. Okay. Sometimes people will tell you, if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not strong enough. And while I agree with part of that, I also feel like sometimes if we don't recognize that it's totally okay to have a small goal as our why to start, and then we can see the bigger picture later on, that is going to get you going. So if you are not, seeing this vision, if you're not connecting to it right away, it's really, really hard for you to get going and to do the things that you need to do day in and day out when you have everything else, pulling for your attention. And so when I say, small goals, I'm going to give you an example. When I started my first network marketing business, I was really just caught up in how fun it was, right? Like I didn't have a big vision for it. I really didn't even know what the hell I was getting it do, to be honest with you. I'd never done anything like this before. I really just was looking for a fun new challenge. I was looking for another, stream of income because I'm always looking for new ways to add, smart streams of income into my life. And once I learned about network marketing, like that just made sense. If I was going to be using a product and telling people about it, why wouldn't I just become a distributor, right? Because my friend and family were going to see the same things on the internet that I was. And so why wouldn't I give them something that they know, like, and trust? So that was really it, right? Like I went into it for the discount and I went into it because I could probably make a couple extra bucks. I didn't have a big why. Okay. What I also though recognize is that it was really fun for me to earn little prizes. I was earning, gifts. I was earning things that I wouldn't normally buy for myself, like a Roomba vacuum cleaner or, just really fun things that I would not have bought for myself. I was also earning, ranks and advancement and things like that. And when you work in healthcare like I do, I mean, I really have maxed out on where I can go in my career. Like I literally cannot do anything more in my department. Otherwise, I would literally have to take a pay cut. And I know that sounds weird, but that's where I'm at. And so for me to be able to have this fun game where I could actually go after goals and meet new goals and have new adventures and stuff was fun for me. I also really liked the fact that I was getting, some affirmations and some confirmation from people and little cards and gifts and that kind of stuff. And that was really fun. It made me feel like I was being appreciated. In healthcare, it's really easy to feel like nobody cares or that you're just doing things because it's what you do and very little recognition. And so it was the little things. It was the rank advancements. It was the to see if I could do it. It was the tiny little gifts that I wouldn't have bought for myself. It was I wonder if I could put a comma in my paycheck. It was the little things, guys. And so if your first why is literally like, I just want to be able to pay for my daughter's gymnastics without having to worry about it, and I don't have to tell her no, then why not? I, have literally had friends that said, I just want to buy a rainbow swing set for my kids and not feel guilty about it. I just want to take my kids to Disney World. Whatever that is, it doesn't have to be this ginormous thing. I'm going to give you that permission, okay, to not overcomplicate this. But give yourself small little goals that you can run after so that you can keep this fun and to let yourself kind of have something to focus on, okay? In 2 weeks, I'm actually going to show you my dry erase board with my small goals on it that I show it to my family weekly. We all have it. It's out in the open. And so my kids get to ask me about my goals. I get to see my goals every single day. I get to see, where I'm at, and just being able to cross things off is really fun. So something as simple as that can motivate me to do the little things, right? Like, oh man, I really want to get to this rank this month, or I really want to get to this, level or get this prize or to be able to cross off that thing on my board. It's totally fine, but have something that you can go for, right? Now, I'm going to drive this into the next thing because what happened with me is that I was going into it with a very, small focus. I liked the fun. I liked the new challenges. I liked the gifts. But what happened to me was I was tuning in to all of my company training, and I'm very coachable. And I kept hearing over and over again from different people from various backgrounds, different educational levels, different, all kinds of things. And I kept noticing that, oh my gosh, like if they can do it, so can I. And it made it feel realistic. It made it feel like it was something that I could actually achieve. And I started to hear their stories over and over again. And I started to recognize something, guys. I recognized that this very well might be the answer to my prayers. This might be the thing that I didn't even know I needed until I see it now. One of the things that I recognize is that because of my career and my driven personality, I was at my dream job. And while it was amazing, it was giving me all of the fulfillment that I needed, I recognized that it was at the cost of being away from my family. And I literally remember just like being so jealous of my husband being home with my kids because he's a teacher at the pool in our backyard when I was like sitting at my desk as a professor with a stack of papers this high and my computer open until late at night. And so I really started to recognize that, like, while I wasn't ready to give up the things that drive me and make me feel alive and make me feel like I'm being making, an impact and being impactful, I also knew that I wanted a more balanced life. And network marketing allowed me to create the and life. And so I could be challenged and fulfilled and do all these fun things and make an impact and create more time with my family. And from that point, I caught the vision and I'm like, holy smokes. Like they keep telling me if I can spend 3 to 5 years consistent, making myself coachable, doing all the things that the people who know better are teaching me to do, I can completely change my life. And I remember thinking, okay, my boss is going to retire in 3 years. So if this sucks, I'm just going to apply for her job like my plan was anyway. But if it doesn't, this literally might be exactly what I need. And I got to tell you guys, within 6 months, I was making enough money to be able to drop back my time at the hospital by a day a week once I saw that vision. And so when I think about, that why, the why was for me to spend more time with my family. The why was for me to be able to back down on my FTE or my time at the hospital. And as that, came to fruition, it was like, oh my gosh, like this is the answer to my prayers. And I didn't even know it was my prayers, right? And so one of the things that I want to do is to take you through an exercise that will really, really help you to discover the inside deep meaning of your motivation or your why. Okay. And we call it the 7 layers of why. And I use the analogy of an onion a lot. There's other analogies that you can have, but basically what I want you to do is recognize that we're going to peel off layers with each of these steps. Now, every single time I do another why, it's going to allow me to have greater insight into what that deep cause is. And that's where you get to the why that makes you cry. That's like the gut wrenching, like, this is why I'm doing this. Like this isn't another option. So what I want you to do is think about, okay, why did you start your business? Well, okay, I wanted to make more money. Why did I want to make more money? Because I wanted to be able to provide for my kids even more. Why is that important? Because I want my kids to have an amazing life. Why is that important? Because I didn't feel like I had the ability to do a lot of things when I was a kid, and I barely saw my parents. Why is that important? Because I recognize that I want to be a present mom and I want to give them both like a good life and a present mom. Why is that important? Because I recognize that if I am at work all the time, I can't be the one that raises them. Like I'm doing everything for everybody else's family and not my own. Why is that important? Because I don't want to live a life wasted. I don't want my kids to get my sloppy leftovers. I don't want my kids to not know how big of a deal they are to me. And so guys, do you see how that, and so when I recognize that me making an impact, me showing up for my kids, me wanting to do it for them, to give them this life, but also to model for them, that makes me show up. And so when I can take you through that exercise, you can get clearer on what is the motivation behind the motivation behind the motivation. And I challenge you to take yourself through 7 whys and see if you can get to that point. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want to recognize, guys, is that sometimes pain motivates us more than pleasure. So what do I mean by that? I can say, oh, I want to live on a beach house someday and I want to be able to travel the world and I want to work 20 hours a week. Like I can say that, right? But that might seem like a pie in the sky for me. But what I can also say is, okay, I don't want myself to be working 70 hours a week, having to say no to my kids, having to miss all of their programs, having to, not be able to travel. And if I don't do anything, my life is going to be exactly the same in 5 years from now. And that makes me sick to my stomach. So if I don't do something about this, I am creating more of the same, and they deserve better than that. Right. And so recognize if you are motivated more by pain or more by pleasure, and allow yourself to take yourself through that exercise and recognize, like, what do I want? But what don't I want? And what would my life look like in 5 or 10 years from now? And if that makes you want to just like, throw up, this is the thing that you need to be able to acknowledge, journal out, and protect it, because this is what's going to allow for you to continue to show up. Okay. I hope that this helped. I'm going to wrap this up. I would love for you guys to show back up here next Tuesday at 7:30 Central, where we are going to talk all about vision casting. I told you guys last week that my family created a vision board together. I'm going to give you not only the tactical, practical thing that we did, but I'm also going to give you some brain science as far as why they work so well and how you can make yours work to most efficiently as possible. So that's next week. And then 2 weeks from now, I'm going to give you all of my hacks for using a dry erase board to bring your family into your goals and allow you to be constantly reminded of your goals, so that it keeps you more motivated in the summer. If there's something else that you guys would love for me to train on, I would love for you to tell me in the comments so that I can make sure that I'm serving you the best that I can. And I hope that you guys all have the most amazing, amazing rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week of summer here. And I will see you guys next Tuesday. Bye, everybody.